I have to be honest, man. Other than COVID and everything else, this is the best time of my life. I'm having the greatest time. I'm loving it. I think people just, they think that like, oh man, I see a lot of comments when people post jewelry and shit, like, oh man, Ben Baller must be punching the air. I'm like, I'm punching the air? I just bought a $2.7 million car, bro. You think I give a fuck about that? I'm being real though, you know? I'm like, no, bro, I'm just a miserable person when it comes to like, I'm that 50 Cent level shit, you know what I mean? Like he always said, yo man, your frowns make me smile. I've learned to try to be less of that though. You know, when I see people like who are trying to be badass and they fall down the steps or something, I'm like, all right, look, motherfucker, like, you know, I'll tell you straight out the top, I ain't that cool. I'm washed up, I'm old, you know, I'm not cool.
You were more aggressive on social media for a while. I felt like you were almost like a Donald Trump type thing. Remember how he used to, but not like Donald Trump as president, but like Donald Trump before he was president, where he was just commentating on everybody's lives and just sort of like, just, and I mean, he was great back then. Right. That was a fun
No, you know
era.
what? I definitely talked a lot of shit, and I do think it was funny because I remember you texted me one time, but then you understood, and I hope this isn't like, I don't want to bring up anything bad, but, you know, motherfucking some girl tried to cancel you, right? And try to come for you. And I don't know if you're surprised or not, but I went out of my way. I didn't just go like whatever. I didn't just say something. I said something, went in comments, defend, like, I was like, nah, hold on. Look, this is what we're not going to do, okay? If you remember, I went to defend you.
I appreciate it.
They tried to cancel you, right? And I was like, nah, dog, no, that ain't going to happen. Boom. And I went hard, and the people were like trying to keep going, boom, whatever. I was like, look, man, some motherfuckers just can't get canceled. It is what it is, right? And so, you know, with that said, when I got with the major agency, I'm with XLSM, right? They represent Tiger Woods, Derek Jeter, Peyton Manning, so many different stars, right? Even new stars and everything all over the world. This is an enormous agency. I've been with several different agencies, WME, CAA. Now with them, it's with these brand sponsorships with Topps, Snickers, things like that. These people don't like the fact that I'm even on a fucking cannabis company. So let alone my opinions of Donald Trump, my opinions of these things, it can affect my bag, right? Now, how much does that matter? Like, fuck that. I'm going to speak on Black Lives Matter. I'm going to speak on these type of things. I love when people say, oh, man, you know, this culture vulture. Man, shut the fuck up. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, really, for real, shut the fuck up. Like, I have been around this. I don't really know too much other than, you know, black people and some Asians, more so now. But that's what I grew up in, you know? And so, like, people just don't get it. So, like, I was very vocal. And I've chilled out, and my agent deletes a lot of my tweets and stuff. You know what I mean?
He has access to your tweets.
Yeah. When I had my reality show the first time, bro, they deleted 30-something thousand tweets. And I was like, wow. But yeah, so now like I have a couple hundred tweets, and then like if it gets out of pocket, they'll delete them and here and there. And just.
But so is your agency? You know, like when I've like done meetings with WME and CAA in the past or whatever, it's like I was just kind of felt like y'all are like just trying to sign people, but you're not really going to be that proactive.
That's the fucking you hit the fucking nail on the fucking head.
That's like the standard with agencies.
Bro, I signed with WME. Signed with CAA. CAA didn't do shit.
Right.
And then, you know, I had my show, boom, nothing. WME, they got me a couple things here and there. Look, man, there's other people in the A-list, whatever, like, and you know, I was like, it was kind of dope. I was like, oh, show with WME. You know, like, look how these enormous stars. If you're not in that 1%, like, you could even be famous, you know, like, do well. They just don't give a fuck. It's a weird thing. So I was like, look, man, with XL, it's a different type of agency.
Because they have people aggressively going after
not just
shit
that,
for you?
Not just that. You know, this is a sports agency, professional sports athletes. Me and Don C and maybe one other two people were like the only ones that were not pro athletes. But look at these brands now. You know what I mean? I'm getting 7-figure deals from different people. You know, I'm making, you know, legitimate money at an old age. You know, like I'm almost 50, bro. So, you know, it's they're actively hitting me. I just got an email like an hour ago. Interested in this? And then some things like, hey Ben, you know, like, okay, now dog, we got to tell you, this is a big move. Let's make this partnership happen. Boom.
What are you doing with Topps?
So Topps is the oldest baseball card company.
Right. That's why I was surprised by that one.
My agent hit me up about it a little over a year ago, probably the end of 2019. I was like, all right, cool, fuck it. I'm gonna design some baseball cards. Great, you know. 13 months later, I've sold $20 million in cards, maybe somewhere around there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so have you always been into the baseball card thing, or is this relatively new? And it's weird to me that two of the richest people, or like most successful people I know, you and Gary Vee, are just always talking about this on social media, which is probably how some people feel when I'm talking about online poker all the time.
Right. I love online, but so Gary Vee was consistently always in the hobby. He never left the hobby.
Okay.
Hobby is the group of people that collect baseball cards or sports cards. I left the hobby after like 91, 92. So I took damn near a 20-year absence from the, but I understood it and I knew what was going on. And I very lightly, not even casually, less than casually, I very lightly kept tabs on certain things and knew obviously certain things are going. Last year, in the pandemic, it has exploded to $1 billion business. And not only that, inside actual boardrooms, my name has been thrown around several times, way more than a couple, that I'm a big responsibility of why they came back so big, you know, during the pandemic. And that's a flex to me, you know. And you know, the guy Vegas Dave, he sold a card. He paid, did he pay $400? Like $400,000 for a card. He ended up selling it for fucking $4 million.
Jesus.
You know, and then just recently there was a couple cards that have been going for $1 million, a couple LeBron cards and things, and you know, I own some cards that are worth some money, and it's crazy, bro. It's part of my net worth now. How crazy is that?
But how do you approach it? Because to me, if I was, you know, if I'm somebody who believes that Bitcoin is strong, then I'm going to go and buy however much of Bitcoin. Are you like, oh, I believe that the LeBron James rookie card is going to be worth 10 times as much, so I'm going to go buy 50 of them if I can? Or like, do you buy in like large quantities? What's the thought process?
It's not like that. With baseball cards, you know, you if you can, you know, what the problem with reselling right now is, and anything, whether it be sneakers, because a lot of the sneaker resellers that are so big, and that's how I became a millionaire, right, from selling sneakers, by selling my kicks. All these Jordan collectors and sneaker collectors, they have now migrated to the sports card game because that's where the money's been good, right? Now the issue is this: guys who are reselling in general, a lot of these guys can't afford to keep $200 in rotating somewhere. 300, 400, which is not, you know, ain't shit to me, right? And I'm not saying that in a tone deaf way. I'm just saying in a real business way. So like, they have to give up something that could potentially be worth money because they can't let it hold. Now in stocks, yes, there's a short game, there's day trading here and there, but the long game is where the money is, right? If you invested 10 grand in Netflix 10 years ago, you know what I'm saying, you'd be a billionaire right now, right? Mm-hmm. So I look at it more in a long game. I look at it, hey man, how about I want to forget about it? That's the best thing to do, forget about it. Like I put 10 grand here or 20 grand here, boom. Oh shit, look where that shit went. And when I bought into Bitcoin, you know, when it dipped a little bit, I was like, you know what, let's see what happens. And I bought in at $3,900. It's like fucking over 50 grand right now, bro. Do you know what I mean? And I have a good amount of coins. I had a shitload back in the day. But, you know, I hate living in regret. With baseball cards and basketball and football cards, you get into things. The only problem is it is so saturated now, it's difficult.
Right.
So where my money comes in is investing in myself. I have my own cards with Topps. My card last year in the Project 2020 was the highest selling card. I have hobby boxes with Topps. That was the hottest box that was out. I'm doing another one this year. I have this project now. So my thing is doing merch and selling autographs and things like that, and that's where my money's coming from. So, you know, I'm not buying as many cards anymore. If anything, I would invest in vintage cards that I thought were hot. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about, you know, like, would you buy more Bitcoin right now? Like, do you feel like that's a worthwhile investment? I feel like almost everybody seems to agree it is a good investment right now, but how much does it sneak out you in your mind? I'm going to go sink a couple million into this just to...
I don't think so anymore. I kind of have a good amount in there, and I feel like now, it's just too high to buy right now for me, man. You know what I mean? I mean, but again, you don't have to spend, people don't understand, you don't have to spend $50,000 to buy a Bitcoin.
Right.
You could buy 1/15 of a Bitcoin.
Right.
You could buy 1/100th of it, you know, whatever. It's what you could afford, you know, but is it good? I mean, I guess. I don't really give people business tips like that. You know, I just know what worked for me.
Right.
And what worked for me might not work for you, and I don't want to be responsible for anybody losing and shit, you know what I mean?
Do you have financial goals, though? Do you, like, have, like, some number that just exists in your head? Like, I want to be worth...
Okay, so...
this.
When I was, like... 2005, 2006, I had aspirations of trying to become a billionaire.
Right.
Nah, man. I think I'm like probably, I'm close. I think like 9 more million and I'm done.
Right.
And I'm just on a fixed income. I mean, I have obviously dividends coming from certain things, but I'm like not tripping.
But what are you really going to do once you stop working, right?
honestly.
Like hanging out with the family's good, but you can't just sit around and stare at your kid all day, right?
It's 3 kids though. It's not
Three,
one. You know what I'm saying? It's 3. It's one. Each one is a full-time job.
And my kid doesn't really do anything yet.
Yeah, and my kids are all out of control. My kids are off the hook.
Right.
You know, they're fucking crazy. They fight the whole 9. More so, I would love to travel with them as much as possible. I bought an RV, bro. You know what I mean? And I fucking spent a shitload of money on this RV. Every weekend we're gone. We travel in the mountains, fucking up the coast, wherever. I'm gonna take them when it gets warm. I'm gonna take them to Grand Canyon, to Yellowstone Park, and take them to Montana and Utah and Portland, and just go see the world until the pandemic starts. And when that starts, they all have passports. We're gonna go see the world. I want them to be worldly. I want them to understand and interact with different cultures and things. So that's just where I'm at, bro. You know, I'm not chasing any of the shit that all these other it's just where I'm at in life.
But that kind of reveals a lot of like what's wrong with how we view life. Because if Ben Baller takes off in the RV for 6 months with his family and his kids, they're gonna say Ben Baller fell off.
So what?
You know? But it's like it's hard for like really young people to understand.
I get that, but look
the
at
value
they'll
of
be like,
slowing it down.
Chameleonaire, they think he fell off. The motherfucker's worth $100 million or something, even more than that.
Right.
You know, like I was shocked to death when I seen Chameleonaire. Of all games, you look at things, and some people don't look at things the same way. Their idea of success is, damn, dude has a Goyard bag, he has a Louis wallet, he has a AP watch, blah blah blah, and that's legit.
Right.
Okay. When you see how someone's living in a certain way, meaning, look, someone's spending money on a watch, 40 grand on a watch, in a way it's warranted. I could justify that, because that watch, you might be able to sell it for more than 40, but at the very least, you could wear that watch. If you lost 10%, guess what? You got to wear a Rolex for 2 or 3 years for $20 a month.
Right.
And sell it, boom, you have money. You're just putting your money in a different place. When you're talking about how someone lives, when you see somebody sitting Game 7 at Oracle Arena, floor, courtside, those are $50,000 to $100,000 seats each. So, I'm like, okay, what's Chameleonaire doing now? Because, something is up, right? He's in the heart of tech. They call that Billionaires Row, and he's there. And then I did this little power summit with Snoop, and we talked. Now I saw Chameleonaire. We started talking, and I was like, oh, shit. He was a really hot rapper at one point. He was wearing jewelry and stuff. Now he's in Silicon Valley, just killing it.
Right. For him, though, it might be kind of like a marketing problem in the sense that I feel like if he wanted the rap world to know how successful he is outside of the rap world, that he could probably do more to communicate that. Like he should be on the Breakfast Club talking about, I made this amount of money doing this, this, and this. I feel like he might have a PR problem. He should invest in that more, perhaps.
So you think that? Okay, well, yeah. I don't know, man. Look, I know
he could come on here and we could talk about that all day.
Yeah. So I said what I said, but at the same time, you know how you're like, oh, well, if you just take off for 6 months. When I'm ready to do that, one of my dreams is to delete all my social media. That's a dream. So I wouldn't give a fuck at that point, right? I wouldn't care.
A dream.